Hello and welcome to the first Confident Cats video tutorial. This tutorial is going to be about crate training or kennel training your cat and get them used to being in their box. My name's Becky. In here we have Loki and this is Seamus, two of my Bokra boys who are available for adoption, and they're going to help demonstrate today. So the first thing is getting your cat comfortable with the box being around. So you want to get it into a good position. You want it to be in a place where your cat goes frequently, where you go frequently, somewhere in your house like the living room, the bedroom, the kitchen, where your cat already feels comfortable and already is comfortable exploring and going around and seeing everything. You want the position to be as much that the cat can explore as much of the box as possible. So one side against the wall is good. If it's under a table and up against the corner, they can't really get all the way around the box, and so it might not be so great for this exercise. The next thing that you want to do is get the box homely for the cat. You know, you want to get a nice stinky blanket in there that smells of them, that they feel comfortable using and being on and being around. And if you don't already have a blanket like that, what I recommend is just taking a blanket that you have lying around, putting it somewhere, like say they already sleep up on the corner of a sofa, putting this on the corner of a sofa, putting a few treats on to encourage them to go onto the blanket and get them using it to sleep on. If they already sleep in a bed, then you can put a blanket inside the bed and get them using the blanket and getting it smelling of them. Once it smells of them, you want to keep the blanket in there so it really does smell of them and that they're really comfortable going in and out. Hi buddy. The next thing you want to do is love the kennel. So you want to get near the kennel, show them that it's not scary. Have the kennel around, have the door open and just sit by the kennel like I'm doing now, talk with friends, lean against it, watch TV, read a book, encourage your cat to come close and get them really comfortable with you being around the kennel. One thing you can do is talk to the kennel. If my cats are extremely scared of a kennel, like Seamus when he first came here was a feral cat who'd been trapped on the streets. So he was really scared of going into confined spaces. So what I'd do is I'd sit, I'd always have a kennel in his room, and I'd sit near the kennel, and while he was building up trust with me, he was also building trust with the kennel. I'd talk to the kennel, stroke the kennel, I'd give the kennel blinkies like this and talk to it. Obviously that only works if your cat sees you doing it, otherwise you just look weird blinking at a kennel. But if your cat sees you doing actions that to cats are comforting, they will feel comforted about the object that you're giving and directing that behaviour towards. Hi Lucky, come back. Do you want some more biscuits in your kennel? Good boy. The next thing I like to do is make noise with the kennel. So while they're around it and they're feeling comfortable with the kennel, and you know they're getting more comfortable with it just being in the situation, it's just I'll make noise while I'm around it, so that they are used to the types of noises that the kennel makes and aren't scared when these noises inevitably happen when you're finally come to moving the kennel around. I'll move the doors back and forth. Seamus is in the way. I'll move the doors back and forth so that they can hear that squeaking sound. I'll open and close the locks like this because often that's a noise that most cats will be scared of. Even if they're used to going in their box, the actual sound of the door latch closing is often what scares them. So you want to get them used to and acclimatized to all these different noises that are going to happen when you're taking them to the vets, or they're going to be adopted, or you're moving house, or whatever's happening. And the next thing I like to do is make my kennel a happy station. So you already have the stinky blanket in there that's going to make them feel comforted, but then I'll get some toys that they like and chuck the toys in. If they see you chucking the toys in, great. If they don't see you chucking the toys in, they'll find them at some point. If they like and are into catnip, you can put catnip toys in there because they'll smell that smell from far away and it'll encourage them to come into their box. If you use laser pens, and your cats are really good with laser pens and chase them around everywhere, you can put the pen all over the box and encourage them to jump up onto the box, go around the sides of the box and touch the box before actually encouraging them to go inside the box. And then you can put the laser pen inside the box and get them to chase it inside the box. And if you already have treats waiting for them in there, then they'll often divert their attention from the laser pen onto the treats, and then we'll stay in the box to eat the treats. Another thing that I like to do is just lay out treat trails. I use kibble as treats because I find I end up using a lot of treats when I'm working with cats when we're doing training exercise like this, and you always run the risk with too many treats that they get bored of the treats. They're often more expensive and they normally have things that aren't a balanced diet in them. So I'll lay out a treat trail like this, just a few outside, and then chuck some biscuits into the box. I like to do this just before I'm leaving, so it gives the leaving the room or leaving the house, so it gives the cats the opportunity to explore the box without you being there. If they've been closed into a box before by people, they're going to know that you plus the box can equal something scary. So what you're trying to do is build up their confidence with the box as much as possible, create as many positive associations with the box as you can, and then introduce yourself around the box as well. Are you going to go inside? What I like to do as well is when I'm chucking biscuits inside, I'll chuck the biscuits so that they hit the back of the kennel, like that. So then they hear this noise and it creates a positive association that every time they hear that noise, they know that there's biscuits inside the box, and then they're going to come and explore the box and to get the biscuits. If they are nervous of you being around, they'll hear this noise, and then as soon as you go out, they'll know that the biscuits are in there and start to explore it when you're not around. But then as they build up their confidence around you and around the box, they'll start to explore the box as soon as they hear that noise because they know it means treats. You can play with your cat through the little windows here, chuck biscuits in while they're inside, so you're getting them comfortable with being in the box in your presence. Chuck biscuits through the window, get mouse toys, like wand toys you can feed through, fake feathers you can use to play with them in the box, but you want to make the box a happy station and as positive as possible. Next thing that I like to do is just to move the door when they're near it, so that they're getting used to those noises, you know, make noises that are going to be like picking up the handle, things like that, so that they're comfortable with the noise of the box and the movements that the box is going to make when you're getting them comfortable with going to the vets or wherever you're going. I like to close the box. You want to put your bum in? Good boy. I'm going to close the door and just open the door while they're in there, so that you're showing them they're not going to be trapped. Not every time that they go in the box they're going to be trapped, but you can move the door back and forth so they're used to those noises. Again, do the latches and just shut the door. The first time you want them to be inside, shut the door and then open it and let them straight back out again, so that there's no time for them to get scared or stressed or create a fearful association with the box and with it being closed. And then you want to build this time up, so the next time they're in the box, you close the door, you leave the door closed for a few seconds, and then you let them out. One thing that I like to do is that as soon as I let them out, I give them a few biscuits outside. Once they've eaten those biscuits, I chuck some biscuits immediately straight back into the back of the box, so that they hear that noise again and know there's biscuits. So if they did get a little bit scared or a little bit stressed about something happening in the box, they're over here, buddy. There's some in there too. That they go straight back into the box and immediately get over that fear and create a positive association with the box, where 2 seconds ago there might have been a slightly negative association with the box. Then once you've got them in the box, that they're comfortable there for a few seconds, you want to slowly increase this time as often as you can. You can do this once a day and just set aside 5 minutes that you're going to be working on this exercise, or you can do this more than once a day. You can do this once every few days. The more often you do it, the quicker your cat's going to associate the box with something positive and be comfortable with going in the box. I recommend doing it, you know, every day, so that your cat's more comfortable, so that if an emergency happens and you need to get them in the box, they're already comfortable with it and it's not a situation where you have to chase them around the house for ages to try and get them in. I like to build up the time slowly in baby steps. So every day I'll increase that time a little bit longer and a little bit longer. Again, if they show any fear, let them straight out, give them biscuits, reward them for trying. Don't use any reprimands during this exercise, because all it's going to do is create negative associations with being near the box or being inside the box. You want to do everything positive. So if they don't do something that you want them to do, or they don't stay in the box as long as you want them to, let them out, give them treats straight away, because they've tried. And that's what you want to reward here, that they're trying and that they're going into a box, which is something scary. Once you've built up that time to about 20 minutes, half an hour, that they can stay in the box and they're comfortable with being in there, the next thing that I like to do are like actual practice runs. So I'll close the door, they're comfortable sat in there. Okay? Hi. Have some biscuits in. Close the door so that they're comfortable sat in there, and then I'll pick the box up and put the box down, and then let them out and give them treats. And then the next time I'll close the door, let them sit inside of it, pick them up, walk them around the room just for a few seconds, put the box down, let them out, give them treats, biscuits straight back into the box, get them, encourage them to go straight back in, and keep doing this and extending the time that you're carrying them around. In the house, I don't tend to cover the box with a blanket, but if I go outside, I definitely do. Once you're doing it around the house, it's a good idea to move them around the house, open doors, take them, you know, to different places where you have to move the box around, not just one straight line, because that's not what it's going to be like when you have to take them to the vets. So move it around and try and recreate as much as possible what it's going to be like in real life. Once you've got them comfortable with being moved around in the house and they come out and they're happy about being in the box, and they'll go straight back in straight away and get their biscuits, and they're not showing any signs of fear or being scared, you can move on to start taking them out of the house. I don't do this with all of my cats, but if you have a cat that you expect to be traveling with frequently, or is going to have regular vet visits, I would really highly recommend doing this to decrease the amount of stress every time you go anywhere. So take them out of the house. The first thing I'd recommend doing is just taking them to the front door and opening that front door and then shutting it again. You can do this equally with the back door, but a lot of cats recognize that noise, especially if they're indoor cats, that noise is the trigger for the transition between the outside world and the inside world, and that can often be scary for them. So you want to get them comfortable with this noise before adding any extra stress of taking them outside, where the conditions are going to be very different to inside. Once you've got them covered with a blanket and you are taking them outside, again, just do a few seconds out onto the front porch or like onto your front garden and back into the house again. Carry them around the house, let them out, give them treats. And then slowly build this up. So then the next step would be taking them to the car, opening the car door, closing the car door, taking them back inside. The next step, taking them to the car, opening the car door, putting them on the seat, closing the door, opening the door, taking them back inside, giving them treats again. Taking them to the car, putting them on the back seat, turning the engine on, turning the engine off, taking them back inside. You know, you slowly, gradually want to do it so that every time they get rewarded, anything that happens that could be potentially scary only lasts for a few seconds until they're completely comfortable with that noise and that scenario happening. If you're finding that your cat is scared perhaps of the door moving, then you want to spend more time working and with the door. Just sit here and play with the door, put toys over the door, put catnip on the door if your cat's into catnip, because it will encourage your cat to come up and rub itself against the door, and then it's creating the noise itself, so it knows that there's nothing to be scared of. Just any time that you see that your cat's nervous or scared, go back to that step that it's scared of and really work on that until it's completely comfortable. Most cats, it doesn't take long. A lot of cats I can do this exercise with in about a week, 10 days, and then by the end of the 10 days they're comfortable being closed in, and then after that week, 10 days, then I'll work on getting them comfortable with being moved around and carried around. But this shouldn't be a long exercise unless your cat is really scared of things, and then you'd expect that they take longer anyway, and that's totally fine. Look out for a future video on getting your cat into a box in emergency situations, where I'll show you the best way to pick up your cat and use your box to get your cat in if you have to go to the vets and you're not quite at the level of having your cat completely comfortable with being in its box. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you go well with getting your cat trained to be more comfortable with its box.